There's something different about today, something in the air that whispers of beginnings rather than endings. If you're watching this on October 24th, you've arrived at precisely the moment you were meant to, not by accident, not by chance, but because something deeper than logic has guided you here, something that knows you're ready for what comes next. You see, most people think change arrives with thunder and lightning. They expect dramatic moments, clear signs, obvious shifts that announce themselves with fanfare. But that's not how real transformation works. Real change moves like dawn, breaking over a quiet landscape, gentle, inevitable, unstoppable. The truth is, your old chapter has been closing for weeks now, maybe months. You felt it in the way certain conversations started feeling hollow, in how your usual routines began to feel like costumes that no longer fit, in those quiet moments when you caught yourself staring out windows, sensing something calling from just beyond the horizon. That restlessness you've been carrying, that feeling like you're standing at the edge of something vast and unnamed. That's not anxiety, that's recognition. Your soul recognizing that the version of you who lived in yesterday's reality is ready to step aside, ready to make space for who you're becoming. Think about the past few months. Notice how things that once felt solid have started to feel temporary. Relationships that seemed permanent began showing their expiration dates. Jobs that once provided security started feeling like prisons. Dreams you thought were abandoned began stirring back to life when you least expected them. This isn't disruption, this is preparation. The universe has been quietly clearing the stage, removing everything that belonged to your previous act so the new performance can begin. And today, October 24th, marks the moment when that preparation phase ends and the actual movement begins. You might not feel ready. You might look around at your life and think you need more time, more clarity, more certainty before you can step forward. But readiness isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a frequency you tune into. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you're broadcasting on exactly the right wavelength. The old energy is gone. You can feel it if you pay attention. That heavy weight you've been carrying, the one that made every step feel like walking through thick mud, has lifted. The resistance that used to meet you at every turn has dissolved. The doors that were locked for so long are finally beginning to open. This is what it looks like when the universe stops testing you and starts supporting you. When life stops asking if you're serious about change and starts providing the conditions for it to happen. The shift is subtle but unmistakable. Where there was once friction, there's now flow. Where there was once struggle, there's now momentum. But here's what most people miss. They spend so much time looking for the big dramatic moment that they miss the quiet revolution happening right under their feet. They're waiting for the earthquake, when the real power lies in the steady, persistent movement of tectonic plates shifting beneath the surface. Your transformation doesn't need to announce itself with fireworks. It doesn't need to be witnessed or validated by anyone else. It only needs to be lived, breathed, embodied one quiet moment at a time. Maybe you've noticed how differently you respond to things now, how situations that would have triggered you 6 months ago barely register on your emotional radar, how people who once had the power to disturb your peace now seem to exist in a completely different dimension, how opportunities that would have terrified you before now feel like natural next steps. That's not coincidence. That's evolution. You've been changing at the cellular level, rewiring your nervous system, upgrading your internal operating system. The person looking through your eyes today sees the world through a completely different lens than the person who was here just a few months ago. And now, the external world is finally catching up. Now, the circumstances around you are beginning to shift to match the transformation that's been happening within you. The job opportunities that align with your new values, the relationships that honor your new boundaries, the possibilities that match your new frequency. This is what alignment looks like in real time. Not perfect, not without challenge, but flowing, moving, progressing in ways that feel both surprising and inevitable. You see, the universe has been watching, waiting, noting every moment you chose growth over comfort, every time you released something that no longer served you, every instance you trusted your inner knowing over external opinions, every small act of faith you took when you couldn't see the full staircase. All of that has been building to this moment, this threshold, this beginning that feels like both an ending and a birth, happening simultaneously. The old version of you, the one who lived in survival mode, who made decisions from fear, who played small to keep others comfortable, has served their purpose. They got you here. They kept you safe through the lessons you needed to learn. But their contract has expired. Their watch has ended. What's emerging now is the version of you that your past self only dreamed about. The one who moves through the world with quiet confidence, who trusts their intuition more than other people's opinions, who knows that they deserve everything they've been hoping for and more. This version of you doesn't need permission, doesn't need approval, doesn't need the stars to align perfectly before taking action. This version of you understands that alignment isn't something you wait for. It's something you create through the simple act of moving forward. The energy around you is different now. Can you feel it? The way conversations flow more easily, the way solutions appear just when you need them, the way the right people seem to cross your path at exactly the right moments, the way doors open that you didn't even know you were approaching. That's not luck. That's the natural result of your internal frequency finally matching what you've been calling in. You've done the inner work. You've released the old patterns. You've cleared the energetic debris. Now the universe can finally deliver what it's been trying to give you all along. But here's the thing about new beginnings. They require you to act like the person you're becoming, rather than the person you've been. They ask you to step into unfamiliar territory with nothing but faith as your compass. They demand that you trust the process, even when you can't see the destination. The old you would have hesitated, would have waited for more information, more security, more guarantees. But that version of you isn't driving anymore. The new you, the one emerging right now, understands that certainty isn't found in external circumstances. It's found in your unshakable knowing that you're exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do. This moment, October the calendar. It's a day on just another 24th is in doorway, a portal between who you were and who you're becoming, between the life you've been living and the life you're about to create. The preparation phase is over. The waiting is done. The universe has cleared the path, aligned the circumstances, and removed the obstacles that once stood in your way. Everything you need is already within you. Everything you've been seeking is already seeking you. The only question now is whether you're ready to stop rehearsing your life and start living it. Because ready or not, it all starts now. The silence between breaths holds more power than the storm itself. You've been living in that for longer silence than you realize, suspended in space between what was and what's coming. But suspension has an expiration date, and that date is today. Look around you. Really look. Notice how the light falls differently through your windows, how conversations carry new undertones, how even your reflection seems to hold secrets it's finally ready to reveal. This isn't your imagination painting pretty pictures. This is reality reorganizing itself to match the frequency you've been broadcasting without even knowing it. The old energy didn't leave with drama. It didn't slam doors or demand final speeches. It simply dissolved, the way morning mist disappears when sunlight touches it. One day, it was there, heavy and familiar, dictating the rhythm of your days. The next day, you woke up and it was gone, just gone, leaving behind a clarity so profound you almost didn't trust it. That's how real endings work. They don't announce themselves with fanfare. They retreat quietly, gracefully, making room for what's been waiting in the wings. And what's been waiting is everything you thought you'd lost. Everything you thought was too good to be true. Everything your practical mind convinced you to stop believing in. The universe has been watching you navigate this transition with more grace than you gave yourself credit for. Every moment you chose hope over cynicism. Every time you released your grip on outcomes that weren't meant for you. Every instance you trusted that emptiness was just space being cleared for fullness. All of it was preparation for this moment. You see, alignment isn't something that happens to you. It's something that happens through you. It's your willingness to show up as the version of yourself that your circumstances are trying to call forward. It's your decision to act from possibility rather than limitation, to move from expansion rather than contraction. The person you were 6 months ago couldn't have handled what's coming. They weren't ready for the opportunities that are about to unfold. They didn't have the internal foundation to support the life that's about to be offered. But you do now. The person reading these words, feeling this energy, recognizing this moment. You're ready. And readiness isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to walk forward without them. It's about trusting that each step will reveal the next one, that each door will show you another hallway, that each choice will unveil possibilities you couldn't have imagined from where you started. The old you needed guarantees, needed to see the entire staircase before taking the first step, needed permission from others before trusting your own knowing. But that version of you has been quietly transforming, shedding those requirements like snakeskin. What remains is someone who understands that the only guarantee in life is that nothing is guaranteed. And somehow, that feels liberating rather than terrifying. Maybe you've noticed how differently you handle uncertainty now, how situations that would have sent you into spiral mode barely register as problems anymore, how you've developed an almost supernatural ability to find the gift inside the challenge, to see the redirection inside the rejection, to trust the timing even when the timing makes no logical sense. That's not you becoming delusional. That's you becoming aligned with a way of being that knows life is always working for you, even when it's with truth appears to be working against you. Aligned that sees every experience as information rather than verdict, aligned with a frequency that attracts rather than chases. This alignment has been building quietly in the background of your daily life, in the way you've started choosing conversations that elevate you rather than drain you, in how you've begun investing your energy in projects that excite you rather than just pay you, in the small daily decisions to honor what feels true rather than what feels safe. All of those seemingly insignificant choices have been weaving together to create something magnificent, a life that reflects your authentic values, relationships that honor your growth, work that feels like expression rather than obligation, days that unfold with ease rather than effort. The resistance you used to feel when imagining your dreams has melted away. The voice that used to whisper all the reasons why it wouldn't work has gone quiet. The fear that used to paralyze you when faced with possibility has transformed into excitement. This isn't positive thinking. This is energetic reality. Your nervous system has recalibrated itself. Your subconscious mind has updated its programming. Your entire being has shifted into a new operating mode, one that expects good things rather than braces for disappointment, one that moves toward opportunity rather than away from risk, one that says yes to life rather than maybe to living. The people around you are starting to notice, not because you're trying to be different, but because you are different. Your presence carries a new quality. Your words hold new weight. Your energy creates new possibilities in every room you enter. You've become someone who makes things happen simply by being who you are. And this is just the beginning. What you're experiencing right now, this sense of momentum building, of pieces falling into place, of life cooperating rather than competing with your dreams. This is the preview, the first glimpse of what becomes possible when you stop fighting yourself and start flowing with yourself. The foundation has been laid. The groundwork has been completed. The internal shifts have taken root. Now comes the part where all of that inner transformation begins expressing itself in your outer world, where all of that invisible work becomes visible results, where all of that faith becomes fact. Today marks the end of the preparation phase and the beginning of the manifestation phase, the end of becoming and the beginning of being, the end of hoping and the beginning of having, the end of waiting and the beginning of walking forward into everything you've been creating through your willingness to change. You don't need to announce this shift to anyone. You don't need to explain what's happening or justify the changes they're about to witness in your life. You only need to honor what's moving through you, to trust what's emerging from you, to allow what's unfolding around you. The old chapter closed so quietly, you almost missed it. But the new chapter begins with the turning of this page, with this breath you're taking right now, with this moment of recognition that everything you've been preparing for is no longer in the future. It's here. It's now. It's beginning. The universe has been holding space for this moment. Your soul has been orchestrating this timing. Your higher self has been coordinating this alignment. And now, finally, all systems are ready. All lights are green. All doors are open. It all starts now. So take a breath. Close your eyes for just a moment. Feel the shift that's already begun. The heaviness you've been carrying has lifted without you even noticing when it happened. The path ahead, which seemed so unclear just yesterday, now stretches out before you with quiet certainty. You found this message today because your soul led you here, because some part of you already knows that the waiting is over. The preparation phase has ended. The universe has cleared the stage, removed the obstacles, and aligned every circumstance in your favor. Everything you've been through, every lesson learned in the darkness, every moment you chose to keep going when stopping felt easier, has brought you to this threshold, this beginning that feels like both an ending and a birth happening simultaneously. The old version of you, the one who doubted and hesitated and played small, has served their purpose. They kept you safe while you learned what you needed to learn. But their watch has ended. What emerges now is the version of you that your past self only dreamed about. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need all the answers. You only need to trust that you're exactly where you need to be, ready for exactly what's coming next. The dawn is breaking. The new chapter is beginning. And you, beautiful soul, are finally ready to step into everything you've been becoming. It all starts now.